All right, here's a look at the MeteoMark weather show, but before we do, I think the most important thing is answering some questions that some of my loyal viewers had on the last video. So let's take a look at some of those questions, but before we do, I want to take a special thanks to all my loyal viewers who send in photos and videos every week, and it really does justice for weather across the United States of America. Because the best way to see what's going on across the nation is to view photos and videos from viewers like you that send in these photos of interesting weather phenomena as well as nature for that matter. So I want to thank all of you that do this week after week. Let's get on to a topic that's I think is a really good topic to touch on. And I had a question in one of my last videos, and that has to do with all the systems lining up across the North Pacific towards Japan and Alaska. Are those going to head into the United States? The answer is yes. And let's take a look. Here across the northern Pacific rim here, this is where we got those systems lining up. They're going to progress across the northern Alaskan Aleutian Islands and then drop down into the northern north-central portion of North America. Now the key note is, I think the person that sent this question in is actually from the Pacific Northwest, if I'm not mistaken. These systems actually, at least for the next 2 weeks, will not affect the Pacific Northwest. They will dive down over the ridge of high pressure and into the central portion of North America and then affect the eastern portion of the United States. They almost look like Alberta Clipper style systems, only we're too early to call them Alberta Clippers because they're not containing any snowfall. So that's what we got going on. I hope that answers your question. And we're going to move on to another question, another topic here. And another topic we have here is, when is my winter weather video update for 2013-2014 going to be released? I'm hoping it's by this weekend or before this weekend. If not, it's either going to be on the weekend or just a day or two after this weekend. So I'm vigorously working on that. I'm also working on a new introduction to my videos, so for those of you that have been kind of tired of the introduction that I have, of course I'm not on tropical alert anymore because the tropics are basically dead at this point. I'm going to be working on a new introduction more in line with the winter weather season, and the winter weather season is going to be an interesting run across the nation. I'm not going to let on any hints at this moment because I'm going to save that for my winter weather outlook. I've had a few other questions regarding topics, and let's take a look at some of those. Basically, we've had some topics, whether I'm going to pursue, say, an earth science teacher. I could do that. I've got the 4-year degree in atmospheric sciences. If I were to decide to do that, I'd only need a certificate in teaching. I think it's 1 or 1.5 years, depending on the state, which isn't very long considering I basically, spent all those years getting a 4-year degree, so what is an extra year? It's not much. So that's a possibility as well. And I'm glad you brought up that subject because there is actually an interesting development I have going on with my programming schedule here at MeteoMark. I'm going to start doing a mini-series on the whys and wonders of weather. It has to do with interesting things such as why certain weather phenomena happens and how to forecast it. For those of you that are really interested in forecasting or amateur forecasting, it's a great way to get your feet wet in amateur forecasting. And there's certain things I want to go over too. Some of the interesting things I use when I'm trying to forecast the weather. So I'm going to go over that. So that pretty much does it for question answer session here. I hope I answered all your questions, and if not, post in the comment sections below. I always like to hear your comments or your suggestions. So let's head on into the weather. I'm briefly going to touch on the weather, but before I start on that, the tropics aren't really interesting at the moment, and the NHC is really putting a 10% chance of that area south of Bermuda, but I really think it's overdone because of the wind shear. And the upper level conditions are not favorable for that type of development. But before I touch on the weather, I'm going to briefly show you the weather, mainly for the end of the week and this weekend. I'm going to be doing a weather video on my Vantage Pro 2, Davis Vantage Pro 2 weather station. And that is going to show you just what it looks like after 2 years of heavy use. And I think you'll be rather surprised. So for those of you, I have had a lot of comments and questions about the Davis Vantage Pro 2 weather station. I'm going to hopefully answer a lot of those questions in the upcoming video. So let's get into some weather here. As I said yesterday and the day before and all of the other weather videos, a lot of the rain has been here in the southern plains. Texas will start to dry out. This zonal flow will really take over across the northern part of the United States. So look forward to that. Here in the Northeast, we'll start to cool down for the weekend, and across the Great Lakes, northern plains here. And we'll have a few systems traverse. As I said, a lot of these will be diving south out of Canada. But as I showed you in the first map, all those systems will be missing the west coast and the northwest. Hence why I got high pressures out here, and I kind of have you off the map here. It's just going to be too sunny. The weather's just going to be too boring to talk about. So that's what we have going on across the nation. And for that matter, these systems will not have a chance to develop into anything major. So I'm going to leave you with a photo of the day. I didn't have anybody send in photos of the day last night or this morning. So I'm going to leave you with the Susquehanna River here at Oswego, New York. I took this picture myself. It's near my hometown. It's on the Susquehanna River. And I think it's right where Oswego Creek empties into the Susquehanna River. So hope you enjoy that photo, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope all your questions have been answered. That's pretty much going to do it here at MeteoMark. Don't forget to like me on Facebook at MeteoMark, subscribe to me on YouTube at MeteoMark.com. Here's the 5-day outlook for my hometown viewers in the Susquehanna region of upstate New York and northeast Pennsylvania. Look at this. We head on into a rainy period here with we're going to have 2 systems that move through. One on Thursday night and another on Saturday afternoon and Saturday night. I know you didn't want to hear that for you people that have off this weekend. However, we will deal with some rain showers developing later in the day on Saturday, particularly after 4 p.m. Quarter to half an inch of precipitation possible. Heading on into Sunday, we start to dry out. So Sunday is going to be the better day this weekend. Heading on into early next week, it looks rather fall-like. Sunday night could be our first frost. We could make it down to 32 or 33 in some of the colder valleys. That's going to do it here at MeteoMark.